Hey, how you doing? This is Adam Post. I'm a 30-year veteran of publishing comic books and stories. And you know what? We need to talk about this. This is kind of important. We're talking tonight about stories and what's being done to stories by a bunch of guys in Hollywood and a bunch of guys in the comic book industry and really anywhere stories are told. This is a classic story right here. Everybody knows the story of Peter Parker as Spider-Man. And it had a lot of social impact, this story. This is a story of how Peter got a lot of power. He was successful and he abused his power. And by abusing his power, by taking advantage of his power and not having social responsibility, he caused his uncle to die. He could have stopped the villain, didn't stop the villain, uncle is killed. And as it's eloquently explained by Stan Lee in this last panel, and a lean, silent figure slowly fades into the gathering darkness, aware that at last, that in this world with great power, there must also come great responsibility. And so a legend is born. That has resonated with millions of children and teens and adults. They know Spider-Man's story. That is social impact. It was the vision of one writer who probably collaborated with his artist as well, and maybe one other editor there. But it really was a singular vision of one writer who wanted to tell a timeless story about responsibility and how important it is to be responsible, and that the consequences of not being responsible not only can hurt people close to you and people that you love, but can hurt yourself. You can be hurt by it, as Peter was. But that's not good enough for Jeff. Nope. Jeff Skoll has other ideas. Really, look at him. He looks like he's a guy with a lot of ideas. He's a philanthropist, apparently, and a social entrepreneur, and he's been working to bring to life his vision of his, whatever it might be, his vision of a sustainable world of peace and prosperity. Because this is the guy that's going to bring peace and prosperity to the entire world. Not too egotistical. So how does he intend to do it? Well, he's not going to tell you that. And who is he doing it in cooperation with? Well, he's not going to tell you that either. And who's actually funding him? Maybe you can sort of find that out. I don't know. It doesn't look like it's on his main page. It's not. This is one of his media companies. So this is what Jeff's doing. Jeff Skoll's group supports his organizations, which include the Skoll Foundation, a Capricorn Investment Group, a Global Threats Fund, and this Participant Media, and probably a couple of other interesting, wacky ventures. But those aren't the important ones for us. For our purposes, we're interested in the Skoll Foundation. What the heck is Jeff Skoll Foundation? Well, here it is. The Skoll Center for Social Impact Entertainment. COMICSGATE is a response to social impact entertainment. This totalitarian movement that's going to decide to tell individual writers how to think, what to work on, what to do, and how they ought to do it. And his little Skoll Center for Social Impact Entertainment is at the UCLA School of Theater, Film, and Television, Skoll Center for SIE, and is supposedly the first of its kind dedicated solely to advancing the power of entertainment, and performing arts to inspire social change. What? Okay, he's going to inspire social change. I'm sure he means well. So supposedly it's, and I'm sure it is, organized around 3 pillars to provide a structure to measure the influence of social impact storytelling. Remember that, it's important. A structure to measure the influence of social impact storytelling. Does that make sense? Is that normal? What is the social impact measurement of Spider-Man learning about this timeless story about responsibility and passing it on to children? How could you measure that? Well, yeah, there's an explanation. Don't worry, we'll get to it. So, yeah, that's its thing. He also wants to have educational and special initiatives. He already has a $10 million fund for this, and I have that in another article. All right, so he wants to ignite and engage the public in meaningful debate around society's most pressing problems. What are you talking about debate? Have you heard of, you've heard of a lot of weird things happening in TV and movie and, comics and video games. Has anyone discussed debate with you? Not me. I haven't seen a lot going on about debate. It's not about debate. It's about, we're going to tell you what your movies are going to have in it. We're going to tell you what your comics are going to have in it. And you know what? Don't worry. We don't care if they don't make money. They don't need money. Obviously, they've got their own little structure to measure the influence of social impact on storytelling. That's a replacement for the profit motive. They're not worried about profit. Okay? They're worried about, number one, influence of social impact storytelling. Jeff's social impact storytelling. I mean, I'm sure he's a nice guy, but he looks like a little bit of a not so nice, kind of a creep to me. All right, just real quickly here. Social impact entertainment, okay? So what does Wikipedia say it is? Because I'd never heard of it before today. Actually, just kind of came across it. So social impact entertainment is a variety of mainstream entertainment forms, predominantly films and TV, that intend to have social impact next to great entertainment value. Social impact. I mean, this has social impact and great entertainment value. It's a 12-page story, the introduction of Spider-Man from Amazing Fantasy 15. 50 years old. People know it. People love it. They know it worldwide. Had a huge social impact. And you have no problem measuring it. You could easily measure it. Why? Because people know it. They love it. A kid could tell you Spider-Man's story. And the moral of the story about responsibility. Okay. So, right. So social impact next to great entertainment value. Well, basically what they're saying is they want to decide what's important about a story. They're going to tell you how they're going to measure that in advance. And that's going to dictate their social and political change through their story. And don't worry, it's not just me saying it. There's documentation for it. I'm going to show it to you right now. So unlike many other aspects of the mainstream entertainment industry, SIE, social impact entertainment, tries to be scientific at times in its decision-making frameworks, most notably upon building on the work of such about utilizing social cognitive theory. I mean, okay. This is what I really want you to see here. Social impact entertainment usually works with a theory of change on how the entertainment property will generate social impact and how said impact should be evaluated. We're not talking about people loving a movie or loving a comic or loving The Last Jedi or loving Captain Marvel. We don't care here if people love the movie, if people talk about the movie, if people tell their friends. They're going to tell you through SIE how the impact should be evaluated. So it's complete. It's only associated with how much does this forward Jeff's agenda or whoever else is working in this same framework, their agenda. And by the way, it's not just Jeff. Okay. Look, a common theme in the field of SIE is that mainstream film production companies employ so-called impact producers who specialize in impact-oriented distribution campaigns, which can often include community screenings for legislators, as well as impact measurement and evidence building. And you're going to love Jeff's evidence building, I'm sure. So back to the theory of change. You want to see what the theory of change is? Yes, you do. The theory of change is a specific type of methodology for planning, participation, evaluation that is used in the philanthropy, not-for-profit, and government sectors that promote social change. Okay. Theory of change defines long-term goals and then maps out backward to identify necessary preconditions. This is based on the theory of constraints. I'm extremely familiar with the theory of constraints. It is hard science methodology applied to social situations. And it's extremely numbers oriented. You use it to chart making changes and conflicts to changes. And it's incredibly effective. It's based on a huge million-plus seller book called The Goal by a gentleman named Eliyahu Goldratt. I could speak endlessly about it. It's also called TOC, theory of constraints. In any event, they tell you what the heck it is here. Look, come on. The history of the theory of change emerged from the field of program theory and program evaluation in the mid-1990s as a new way of analyzing the theories motivating programs and initiatives working for social and political change. So whoever wants to tell you, oh, there's no politics in comics, there's no politics, it's not about a political Captain Marvel. They're not being political with their movies. It's not political. It's all political. It's SIE. It's based on the theory of change. It's in Wikipedia. Wikipedia is not like the best source in the world. It's good enough. It tells you what they're trying to do and where they're doing it. All right. Now, you always want society to be changed by geniuses like Leonardo DiCaprio. So as Leonardo says, and this is a quote on the state of SIE. SIE is, again, is this ridiculous? I consider it to be ridiculous, but it's dead serious. To me, it's a communist type of movement. It's a top-down, very odd, totalitarian approach to pushing social and political agendas through all of our entertainment that's just supposed to be helping us to relax. Here's what Leonardo DiCaprio says. You want to make sure that your audience walks away with a clear understanding of the steps they can take in their own lives to be part of the change you are seeking to create. How is that not propaganda? A story can inspire you. There needs to be a subtlety there. When you see subtlety lacking, you see propaganda, right? I mean, this website is interesting. It's this extensive report on the state of social impact entertainment developed by our friend Jeff and the rest of Jeff's crew. And it goes on and on about how they're basically interfering with and insinuating themselves into all sorts of entertainment in film and TV. They are all replete throughout Hollywood in film and TV production. This is one of their little nice, cute get-togethers, the Spark Change Summit, which took place in March of this year, will feature award-winning producers, writers, directors, and creatives, all focusing on entertainment that raises awareness, changes behavior, influences policy, and catalyzes movements. What movements are you catalyzing? Just make me a superhero movie. Make me a decent Star Wars movie. Make me an old-style TNA 80s movie. Just make some fun stuff. Make some good, entertaining stuff, and occasionally make it in a brilliant way that accidentally, probably, you have a timeless message that we can all carry throughout our lives about being responsible and about how it pays for us to not abuse our authority, how it pays for us to work in some type of merit-based system. But this is the creepiest thing. The creepiest of the creepy. It is totalitarian. It is communist. Look at this article. This was from March 2018. Communist Party will have direct control over China's media and film industry. Analysts say having direct oversight of the media will help the party hammer home its message domestically and will also work to improve its image internationally. How the heck could they improve their image internationally? How could they ever improve their image of how we present them in TV or comics or film? I wonder, if only there was some sort of, social impact entertainment facility to do it. Oh yeah, maybe there's a way. Maybe there's a way that we could do that. Maybe there's a way we could do that. It's not like China invests or has anything to do with any of our movies. As I have highlighted here, under the plan announced, China Radio International, China National Radio, and China Central Television, along with its international broadcast arm, China Global Network, television network, will be merged into a new body with a new name that translates to Voice of China. The government's regulator of the press and print publications, radio, film, and television will cease to exist, and its responsibilities and resources will be transferred to the party's central propaganda department. Jeff would love it, right? That's perfect for Jeff. Along with the control over the film industry, including the import and export of movies. The new body. So import and you want to put your movie into China? Oh, well, it's going to be approved by the Central Propaganda Department. I mean, you already know this, but think about that and know it again, because it's important. The Central Propaganda Department of the Communist Chinese government is approving all the media that they create, which is terrible, but what's even worse, that we create. We need to think about this if we're making content and we want it to be in China. I don't think we should. I think we should just make American stories. And if they want them and when they will pay us, fantastic. If they won't pay us, and the hell with them. We don't need them. I don't care how much money is involved. You can't give away your culture just for that, to have access to the market. You can't give away your creative expression to China's Central Propaganda Department. I mean, that's a pretty obvious name. It's on the nose. I mean, we've got Jeff helping us here in Hollywood, but when Jeff's done with us, then we still got to get through these guys. The new body's chief responsibilities include implementing the party's propaganda guidelines and policies. Okay, so that's pretty open. Anything else in this one? I think I got bored with this article. That's enough that's in this article. All right. How does this affect comic books? I don't know. I mean, it's not as if China bought one of the major comic book independent companies. Oh, yeah, I guess they kind of did. So right here, January 29th, 2018, China-oriented IP firm, DMG, takes full ownership of Valiant Entertainment. So they bought out Valiant. Nope, Jim Shooter didn't get rich. That was years ago. Jim Shooter left Valiant. They bought out Valiant, which controls the third largest corporate-owned superhero universe behind juggernauts DC and Marvel's Disney, and they acquired Valiant. Okay. And good news, DMG Entertainment, a $6 billion production company, is best known for its ability to bring U.S.-based franchise films to the crucial Chinese market. So they're going to bring Valiant films to the crucial Chinese market just as soon as Jeff is done with Heather Antos, now at Valiant. I heard she's a good editor. Screening the content and making sure it's got the right social impact entertainment score, right? Because it's measurements. And then it's going to go ahead, but we still have to get it past, who's these guys again? The Communist Propaganda Group or something like that controls all their imported media. So what do they really need to buy Valiant? Like what are they doing in my comic books? I mean, I know the publisher of Valiant, they're good people, but I don't know. I'm not really comfortable about that. I'm not that comfortable about this either, by the way. So a Chinese company buys a portion of Dark Horse Comics in a sign of the times. Now, I don't know what sign of what time this exactly is. But, as they say in this article here, this is yet another company. So check this niceness. Same deal. As reported by Bleeding Cool, Vanguard Visionary Associates has made a major investment in Dark Horse with the goal to produce movies and television shows based on Dark Horse properties, create new ones, all right, and be able to sell the Dark Horse products, in China and elsewhere. So China first and then elsewhere. Sell them in China and they can sell them other places. But if they're going to sell them in China, they're going to have to be approved by their cute little, what is this? Communist Party. I mean, this is not American. This is American comics with no approval of the Communist Party. It's fine if they want to be a passive financial investor. They don't need to tell us how to create entertainment. He doesn't need to tell us how to create entertainment. That's why COMICSGATE exists. Whether or not everybody realizes it's not because of Gail Simone. It's not because of Mark Wade. It's not because of social justice warriors on Twitter. It's because some powerful people made the decision that they're going to organize and they're going to do. I'm not saying it's all just Jeff. It's people who made decisions at the top. It's the new editors in chief, not of the comic book companies. Whoever the equity players are, whoever owners are coming down and saying, we need to be social activists at a time like this right now. So we have this agenda and we need you to put these agendas in your stories, and it's really important. Go do your thing. And of course, yes, they do go hysterical on their own, I'm sure. But that's the problem. That's the issue with our entertainment today. It's been affected by people that want to produce to a standard of some sort of groupthink for social, political, activist change. And it's not guys on 12 guys, even, I mean, there are multiple 12 makers. It's not independent social justice warriors getting into a group on Twitter of all, wacky, crazy people. It's not just those guys. It's pervasive in the companies. Fans don't run the companies, whether they are for the changes or they're against the changes. The companies are run by powerful people with money that have whatever their wacky social agendas are. They all seem pretty creepy. And ultimately, if we don't make our own comics and our own films and our own movies and our own TV shows and our own books, they're all going to be controlled by people that want to sell them to China, apparently, because that's just the way of things. I have no idea how much influence China has over Disney, except that China is an enormous market. So I'm sure they have some input. I know Disney just was allowed to acquire Fox because the country of China said it's okay. Under what conditions, I have no idea. That was in the media. I don't have the article up now, but you can go find it. So what's this? This is the problem. This is the problem. It's a very big problem. There's an actual, not just group of people on Twitter. There's an actual organized group of people who are involved at all of the highest levels of entertainment. It's not a conspiracy. It is what they are doing. They have an agenda. They have a plan. They have a mechanism. They have people that are measuring them now. That's what they must be doing in China. I don't know how China controls its content, but I know how content is controlled. I've produced hundreds upon hundreds and hundreds of comic books. I manage people remotely in different settings and for my normal workplace stuff, in addition to producing comics. And let me tell you, you have to be able to measure what people are doing if you want to get a certain specific result. There has to be numbers. There has to be reporting. There has to be control. And that's what this is. The solution is we make our own stuff. I have a passion project. It's Adam Post's College of the Dead. It's the story of a zombie apocalypse where the students and the teachers are fighting for their lives to survive against zombie hordes. And I'll tell you what, it's 140 pages. It's completely done. It's live on Indiegogo right now. It's also at collegeofthedead.com. What I'm going to tell you is we really need to be focused. We need to be focused on creating our own good stuff. We should tell other people about this social impact entertainment. I'm going to put the links in the articles. You're welcome to share my video. You ought to subscribe because I got a lot of other great things to say. Make sure you click the bell for notifications and like this post. This was a big project to make this video. I know you appreciate it. You share the articles. Let people know about this because people don't know what the heck is going on. And just one other damn thing, all right? All of this nonsense, all of these articles, they're not talking about representation. They're not talking about, well, you need to have a female in this role. It has nothing to do with representation. They'll say it has to do with representation because representation creates the blank slate. The blank slate is let's destroy what's there. And we're just going to keep putting unusual agendas on our next, whatever we think is progressive a year from now or 2 years from now. And again, change it again 3 years from now. Even look at what changed for what was considered normal 2 years ago, 5 years ago, 10 years ago to now. Look at how words are being redefined. That's from guys like Jeff and whoever it is that pays Jeff or whatever Jeff's doing. It's not organic. That's the point of this video, is to really make sure you understand. There's nothing wrong with social change. It should be organic. It should bubble up. It should be people talking sincerely about how they feel about this or that. There shouldn't be administrations like Jeff's operation controlling production, controlling editorial, controlling content with massive, admitted massive agendas that are social and political agendas pushed through entertainment. That's what they're doing in China. This is not China. This is America. All right? Pick up my book. Check out some of these articles. I'll be talking to you soon.